Working now. Are we here? It is working. Stream has disconnected. Attempting to reconnect. Mr. Coffee, we're back. Thanks everyone for those of you faithful followers who stayed with us. Power went out in my whole building for about 20 minutes there. They've been working on the street near to my house, down the street, maybe 2 buildings. I don't know, but it's very strange. Yesterday it went out for 5 minutes at exactly the same time, now longer. But it's strange that it would go out at exactly the same time. It was like 7 p.m. And it's after work hours if there's like construction or something. We're just glad it's back, though. I'll take it. 20 minutes, not too bad. I really wish I had internet that, could connect, like a battery-powered internet. If I was playing poker, I'd be in big trouble right now. I had mobile internet. I used to have mobile internet in case of emergency when my poker tables would go down. It was like the worst connection in the world, though. Barely worked. Yeah, I mean, imagine like really, really, really serious poker players have to have like a second dedicated internet. My mobile internet was just for emergencies. So we've got Astrobate versus Israel. We left off here. Astrobate, your bishop on e3 sucks. Stop putting your bishop on e3. It's an unpromising position. Oh, this is bad. We had the same thing from a player this week. Someone played a6 against me. A6 is like a red flag. You can start thinking about c5 with a Capablanca-like queenside majority. I think it was against Sumaher. No, a different player. But anyway, I think a6 kind of like strengthens the power of the c5 push. Welcome back, everybody. We have power. I don't know if anyone's still here, but our faithful followers probably still are. Let's see. Chess Ibra, who's been quiet. Dodgy Tactics. Jim. G Souts. Not Mr. Beast. And Tim Sash. As well as Mr. Coffee and Astrobate are the faithful followers still with us. A few others I don't recognize. Alright. Anyway, Astrobate, stop this bishop e3 stuff. Knight f3, h6. I think h6 is probably better than a6. Bishop e2, a6 gel. I still think you should push and play a positional game based on the queenside pawn majority. The one thing that's interesting is if you do this, black can play like knight e4. And if you play bishop d3, he can play f5. But I don't like the look of that square. Now he's in big trouble. So there's things that if you do h6, you lose the ability to do other things. h6 is not a good move. It's probably worse than bishop e3. But bishop e2, I still think push. If b6, we start shoving. If a5, we just like guard it, It's even possible you could push b5 because these connectors. Before the endgame, the guy has to place the middle game. I don't know. Those pawns look pretty dangerous. Pawn play is not Astrobate's strength. Bishop e2. Now black should probably take and play a decent QGA with b5. So your play is too hesitant. Castles, again. G6 not great. Bishop G7. This is a good move, dude. Thank you, Asterbait, for playing C5. A lot of times you play that move in inappropriate positions, but I think here we finally have a situation where it's more than appropriate. You've got the strong follow-up with the pawn avalanche on the queen side. Now he tried to stop it. You need to support it with A3. I think this is simple and best. Guys, please support the stream. Asterbait, game broke the Sladgie verse. It broke my house. No, my house power went out. I live in a huge building, and I don't know if the power went out in the whole building or in the whole block. If a certain circuit goes out, like the entire block goes out, or half the block usually. It hasn't happened in a long time, but it happened for 5 minutes yesterday. I also don't know if it's just our house or the area, like a block radius. All right, we're back, hopefully for good. Now, nice positional move by Asterbait heading for there, but he can block you with knight d7. So, I don't know. I mean, while it's not a bad move, I don't think that's our primary plan. I think you need to play with the pawns. You need to go a3, b4, and eventually push a4, b5, and win by nature of that queenside majority. Knight a4 gets in the way of the a pawn. Nevertheless, we can keep doing what we're doing. You know, probably a3, b4. Now you play queen d2. Okay. Not a bad move. Ugh. I think black should stick with king h7. g5 looks really, really bad. Like, really bad. But Asterbait has both sides of the board under control. So I mean, I think like b4 looks really strong here. You're gonna bring that knight back, and then roll on the queen side with the pawns smoothly. Man, queen d2 may have been a bad choice though. Note the lack of mobility of this bishop. The octopus, the amputated octopus. It only has 2 A's to go. And after g5 it has only 1. Now it has none. That's probably what we're going to see here. Asterbait getting his bishop trapped. I would consider h4. The problem is g4. h4 is hanging. But this still might be good. You have to calculate h4. You know, he can try to hold the position with like f6. If he pushes, if he takes, you're crushing him with like bishop takes h6. But if he pushes, it looks like we have to play knight h2. Now this is hanging and this is hanging. It looks like after queen takes, there's still that danger of f5. For example, knight takes, f5, knight h2, f4, and we're screwed. Yeah, well, that's why you shouldn't put your bishop on e3 to begin with. Alright. Rook fe1. General move doesn't really do anything, and now f5. And now you're in trouble. You know, you're in trouble. You're going to have to evacuate the diagonal or sack a piece for 2 pawns. I mean, unfortunately, he has a lot of pressure on d4. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind sacrificing a piece here. But he's got this. You know, what are you going to do? So after f5, he sacks the piece anyway. So I think the first thing to do is not panic. Astrobate. Can we not panic here? The first thing is g3. All right, this should be the first thing you calculate. It slightly weakens your position, but if g4, you have like knight h4, knight back here. I'm not sold on this, you know? Maybe that. The other problem is your knight doesn't have any squares. Check out your knight squares. It has just one square, and then this, and then this. Things are starting to get murky. But more concerning is this move, right? The bishop that has no squares, again. Now the knight that has no squares, it has to go here. That's alright. So I think Astrobate 28 minutes. You've only used 2 minutes. Your opponent only 3. You should be playing a different time control if you're not going to use your time. Alright. If we're attacking, we look for forcing moves that destroy things, win material, whatever. If we're defending, the opponent has a clear threat. We're looking for moves that prevent the threat, right? So the first thing we should consider is g3. The second thing we should consider is moving our queen so that we can move our bishop back. You know, if f4, bishop d2. This, unfortunately, leads to a situation where Mr. Knight is now short of squares. It looks like that, and that, and that, and something like that. And I'm not really liking the way this looks. Black is in our face. So I think we'll stick with variation A. G3 and take our chances. You chose to sacrifice a piece here, but you've only got 2 pawns for a piece. Knight takes g5, h takes g5, bishop takes g5. And now, what's the best move? d4 is under threat. So it looks like you have to take and defend your d-pawn. I would assume like take, rook d1. And white is worse because you only have 2 pawns for a piece. Instead, he puts it back on the octopus, replaces the octopus back to its bad square. First of all, black can play f4, bishop takes, and then take this one. I don't know. You have some chances to attack with open lines around his king, but I'm skeptical of your position. So, it's a bad bishop for good bishop exchange. Now he plays king g7, blundering bishop h6 check. King h7, bishop f8, queen f8. Now d4 cannot be protected. So even after blundering the exchange, it looks like black has a decent chance here. How strong is rook h3 would be my first idea. And you did it. This is Astrobate. See, he's good in attack. He sees how to attack with pieces with the opponent's king exposed. I mean, rook c3 is a nice move. Knight takes d4, taking out your central pawn. Check. The second rook might come in the game. I guess I would play like bishop d1 if I were white here. Open up my rook and hope, you know, that I've got enough play. You play bishop h5. I don't know, man. Maybe it's a good move. Cutting off the king from escape. It's a good move. And then he's taking the pawn on c5. This looks very dangerous. What is black to do? Is black paying the price here for his lack of development? You're down a piece, but he has 2 pieces out of play. You have just 1 out of play. So you have a piece less and a piece out of play. He has 2 pieces out of play. So basically, at the end of the day, like on this side of the board, let's say this side of the board here, in this vicinity, you have like almost equal material, and his king is not safe. But now his queen is like drawn out of position. So now look at the king. Completely abandoned, with nothing to protect it. Boom. So Larry Christensen calls it the student body attack. We just have like too many pieces outnumbering the enemy defenders in one zone. Zone theory. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if black was just lost now. You know, you're down a piece, but he has 2 pieces out of game. Actually, 3. I mean, his queen is basically out of the game too, and you also have safer king. But you need a killer. Maybe your move wasn't best. I don't know what else to suggest here, though, other than queen h6. Rook c1. Rook c1 doesn't do anything great. He has queen e7. I don't know if Astrobate has enough here. Now what, like rook g3? I mean rook e3. This is my idea. Does anybody like it? Jim, welcome. So rook e3 threatens rook takes g7, followed by rook g3, and e2 is guarded by the bishop. If black plays f4, we might have a problem. f4, queen takes f4, knight f5, queen takes f5. I'm a tactical buzzsaw. That's pretty nice. So what happens on, say, queen takes f4? Material. Black has 2 pieces for the rook and a pawn, but failure to develop the outside, those queenside pieces. Interesting game, Astrobate. Good battle. I think it's unclear. Anyways, he didn't find rook e3. He played queen g6. This is awkward. You don't really have a threat here. I mean, on the other hand, I'm not sure you would have had a threat. Like, say rook e3, he has king f8. It looks like you'd have to move your queen in any case, and you don't really necessarily have a great move. But I guess back here, this is the best we could do. You know, praying for like e5, queen takes f4, pawn takes, rook takes e7, and we can be like okay in this ending. So you play queen g6. You're going to need a swindle now. I don't see it. You're not even threatening anything. You're definitely lost now. I mean, you got no threats. He's trying to do queen h7. It doesn't work because of bishop h6. There's just no threat. Yeah. It's not enough. Say what? Oh no, he stole a rook. Look at that. It was reckless of black to play rook c1 though. I mean, he's winning here. He just needs to consolidate. This was too aggressive. Leaving his rook unprotected was just asking for trouble. Check here. Rook d3. Everything's safe. Nothing could possibly go wrong. And then boom. Bishop 64. Check. And now it's unclear. Well, I mean, you're down. You're up the exchange now, so you're better. Really sloppy game, but interesting one. Nice. Mate. Mate in 8. Alright, good game. Anyway, not too bad. Thanks, everybody. We're back from our power outage. Power outage analysis stream. We'll get in as many games as I can. We lost 20 minutes there. Move 11, you're too late. And I might not get in the game 11. You would be game 12. If you were on time, you would be game 11. But now you're possibly game 12. But I'm 20 minutes late due to power outage. We'll keep move 11 as a reserve. Got to get up pretty early in the morning to get your game in on the analysis stream. Alright, Sumahair versus Sparkle Horse. Or should we do, let's do Jim's game. It was swinging? Yeah, that was a nice game, nice battle. It was fun. Fun game. Jim, somewhere. Game for Thursday, not the best quality. Join the club. It was a simul against this IM. We're going to hope it's not Esserman or Eric Rosen. I ran really low on time most of the game, and in the end I got bluffed. I was thinking about 30 seconds about when I'm missing and eventually got flagged. Thank you guys for supporting the stream. Mr. Coffee donated 100 bits this week. We had gift subs from Universitatea Cluj, Acerbata Mr. Coffee. Yeah, I don't know who this player is. Lagrange equation. Jordy LaForge. Alright, Jim is white. Jim plays a4, rook a3, rook g3 for his openings now. By the way, I saw him playing Bullet. But he's not only playing Bullet, he's doing the high school friends who don't know how to play chess opening. He does a4, rook a3, and swing it across. Speaking of swinging. Let's keep it serious. e4, c5, and the wonderful, whatever it is, takes, knight f3, coming to your senses. Now, theoretically, a6 is a good move. Theoretically, a6 will force white to play the Smith-Morra. Alright, knight c6, knight takes e4. What made you not play the Smith-Morra? Like, why play this move order if you're not going to play the Smith-Morra? Do you think it messes people up? Interesting. e6. Queen c7, mainline, like Taimanov or whatever. Jim plays a real line. So this is like the sharpest variation, probably. I've always like played g3 here. You know, I had this book, Belyavsky, Uncompromising Chess. I'm really sad that I didn't get his autograph. But I remember in that book, he's the only person I remember a really notable game where white played like f4. Belyavsky has an attacking game with a system. Really nice game. I don't remember who it was against. f4 is an interesting alternative. So bishop e3, a6, queen d2. You know, Jim is not up on the latest theory, but I know move 11 is here. And he's big on this. It seems like Queen F3 became really trendy. This is all the rage now. Playing Queen F3 and rolling the queen over to G3. A6, Queen D2. This is like the traditional way to play. Knight F6. Castle's queenside. Bishop B4. This is like Kasparov. The last time he played in like the Olympic team for Russia. I think he played a game with this line back in like 2000 or something. I remember covering the Olympiad in like 1999 or 2001. I don't remember when it was. Whenever the last time Kasparov played for the Russian Olympic team, he had a game he was playing this system. Queen D3 instead of Bishop E3. Interesting. That's even more rare. Anyway, so this is like topical theory. And Black played Kapling. You know when the top game in the Open Explorer is like 2003 and Black is Leboyevich? That this is not a popular variation. Man, it's amazing Leboyevich was still 2570 in 2003. He was old. He was already pretty old in 2003. I would say he was like retired already. Leboyevich playing Kramnik. I mean, Leboyevich's like peak was in the early 80s probably. He's way over the hill at that point. He has no chance against Kramnik. That's the top game in the rating list, man. That's not a good sign. D5 must not be good. So 95 is mainline. I don't play this for Black. It looks like 95. I mean, I've seen a lot of games. Move 11 knows it better than I do, because he plays this with white. So D5 is rare. Yeah, I guess Jim doesn't know, but I guess this is the main idea. Like, if they take, you take, and you just sack a pawn here. I mean, Black doesn't have a dark squared bishop. It's just like very nasty. Nasty compensation. I don't know how we play it exactly. It looks like there's 7 games where White took on E4, which is kind of surprising. But White has to do something. I mean, this is like a better ending. Swat played that, Van Foreest, in 2014. That guy has a ridiculous amount of games. I mean, no wonder he's a 2600. Van Foreest must have played in every possible tournament he could conceivably play in the last, like, 6 years. Incredible, like, support. But pawn takes e4, pawn takes e4, knight takes e4, queen e1, I thought. Apparently it's queen d3. Kramnik sacking a pawn for a... But it's actually Judith Polgar game is the oldest one there. Sacking a pawn for a nice bishop pair. Anyways, alright, so no a3, g4. Well, alright, so what are we going to do? The problem is, like, pawn takes e4. And if g5, Black has knight d5. That's a mistake. Surprising. I see. So you take on c6 and you have a mate on d8. What are you doing about knight d5, though? I just don't know what we're doing about that. Why is knight d5 not a problem? Interesting, so he just doesn't give him time. He plays a3 now. So if I'm Black here, there's no way I'm trading off my dark square bishop. I'm definitely playing bishop e7. I mean, you got to be out of your mind to do anything else here. And bishop e7 is forced, as far as I'm concerned. And it looks like it's a position. You know, it may not be that bad for Black. Because if g5, I mean, you know, knight d5, knight e4, knight e3. I'm not that sure about this is that great. So probably you play like knight takes e4 and it's just a position. But after a3 he played bishop takes c3. That's like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? I mean, am I missing something here? Because bishop e7 doesn't look that bad. So the engine thinks this is better for you. This first line we looked at. Take, 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 take. Okay, maybe it's better, but it's still not a big deal. Black is okay here, I'm pretty sure. It's pretty solid. Eventually black plays c5, bishop b7, gets his pieces out. This is horrifying. Yeah, that's really scary. He's got very weak squares on the dark squares. This. It's definitely... Okay, a question of what you do now about this. I was actually thinking about bishop h6, but that's crazy, right? I thought Jim was going to do something mental. Can we play bishop h6? I guess e5 is a problem there, among other things. Yeah. So, yeah. He has to play rook e8, I guess. But I don't know. Do we have enough compensation? It's a game. So instead black plays rook d8. A playable move. But how do you keep the initiative going here? This knight d5 is going to block up the d file. Yeah, I mean, I guess he can play knight d5 right away, right? Why doesn't he just do that? Black seems pretty solid. No, it's a simul, and he has to play a lot of players. Jim is actually really low on time. I guess Black just figured this is good enough. Maybe he's right. Yeah, I mean, you just... I think the point is, at some point you have to kind of like change over to something solid. You only have like one setting, like maniac mode. Can we just be calm here? I mean, queen f4 check is a problem. But if you play this ending, let's say, down a pawn. No, I think you're just attacking in a position where there's no attack, you know? Here. Just need to play the position without necessarily attacking. Too much bullet chess. It just looks like we're running out of gas. I mean, we just don't really have anything here. Now we're like 3 pawns down. c4. Jim finally finds a target on g7. We still don't have a threat. Nah, it's nothing here. You're just hanging on by the thread of the threads of your teeth. The skin of your teeth. Another threat. There's no threat. Oh man, he just hallucinated. He had some kind of tactic here with knight c3. That's the only thing I think of. You know, he's trying to do something here. He just allows, like, the crushing bishop d4. Maybe f2. It doesn't matter. This is too strong. Because on this you have, like, bishop takes with check. Yeah. Your boyfriend. Hello. Alright, Jim. Sloppy. Sloppy bullet style game. But interesting. Yeah, it's weird. He didn't know the line. d5 is definitely not a real variation. But I mean, I play stuff I don't know as well. Especially in simuls. Everybody, welcome back to the stream. I was power outaged, but I'm back. Alright, we've got the list. The list. Guys, please support the stream. Let's start a hype train or something. Mr. Coffee on the job. That didn't last long. Start the hype train up. Drop some gift subs, some donations to your starving chess streamer. What was that? Jim has a 100K badge. You don't see those very often. Alright. Where am I? Thank you, Jim. It's good to see you back. Study, my study, studies, my study. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the bullet chess, but you need to mix in real chess too. You play too much just bullet. I know you're limited with your time, Jim. Ideally, like a mix of blitz, bullet, and rapid. Sorry, you're bored. Oof, you oofed him for bored? Was it just a gut reaction, Mr. Coffee? We'll take the moral support, WJ Loof. WJ Loof, 50K badge. Hard to argue with that. Alright, where is my freaking study? There it is. Alright, so Sumahair versus Sparkle Horse. Oh, he always does this now. He's always submitting his games against me. Not this. Oh, what was this? The hippo? No, but with that was man, you really had a short trigger on that one. I agree. It smelled of troll. Your boyfriend? I was kind of curious to see what happens next. All right. I think you pulled an itchy trigger figure there, Mr. Coffee. I would probably do it if I was in a bad mood. Are you in a bad mood today? C4, B6. Does your banhammer have +5? It's like a Dungeons and Dragons banhammer. Knight c3, bishop b7 I played. It's I played this game in 5+3 against Sumaher, one of our Blitz streams. But the problem was I realized I've played the English defense against him like on a number of occasions. Like I've played it 2 or 3 times in the last 2 months, and I think he's starting to like get the hang of it. So at the last minute, I like pulled my punch here, and I decided to play g6 and go into a hippo. It's basically the only other viable plan for black in this position. Bishop e4 is normal English defense. But normally you don't do g6. Like you do g6 against a3. That was my win against Onishuk. But I mean, a3 is a really useless move if you're going to play the hippo. And it weakens white's position. It felt good to get that ban in there. Alright, e4, g6 right away. So Shaq has a game. Polak Tamash. 2 grandmasters out of 3. Alright. Now, f4. Very aggressive 4 pawns attack against the hippo. There's some guy who wrote a book on the hippo. I mean, I haven't seen it. Apparently, there's a hippo book out there, a few years old. But a hippo is more of a concept than a concrete opening, I always argue. It's a formation, you know. It's kind of, it's not a concrete thing. Now, I played bishop g7. Knight f3, very logical. I mean, the 4 pawns attack against the hippo must be kind of critical. Knight e7. And now there's 2 games in the opening explorer. Yeah, I mean, the moves that make sense are either bishop e3 or bishop d3. Bishop d3. And I played... Yeah, I think it's like weird to commit castling kingside a little early here. So I agree with Polak Tamash. It's a Czech grandmaster. I think we've met long ago. Hungarian team championship. But he was a nice guy from what I recall. Castle for white, just like this game from 03. And we got another game. The grandmaster plays knight d7. No, I know. But in Hungarian, it means Polish, Polak. Yeah. It's not a common name here, but it's possible. Knight d7. Actually, in Hungarian, no, Lengel. I'm sorry. Lengel Ursag. It's Lengel in Hungarian. I don't know how that comes to be. Do you have any idea about Lengel? So this guy played king h1, a useful move. But I like white's move. I mean, bishop e3 looks very principled. So now we've got a couple games. Critical hedgehog, hippo. Easy to confuse them. Grandelius against the guy, you know. Grandelius against 2500. Pridorozhny against 2400. The favorites won both games. Hippo's really risky opening. Against Onishuk, when I won, I didn't castle, but it was a much different position where he played like an early h4. So I castled here. h6 is weird. That's what this guy Novotny played. I think if I had to do over again, I might play c5. You gotta watch this, but I mean, black has knight c8. It's almost like a really weird Sicilian. You know, but the problem is, I mean, if you play c5, you get hit by d5, and you have kind of bad Benoni, bad Queen's Indian. I was also considering f5, but there is really dangerous. Then again, you have this. You know, then again, he could just like take the space with e5. I'm not a hippo expert. No, I know the history between Poland and Hungary. Hungary is strong. There are these like games they have together and stuff. Bishop e3, castles, queen d2, and now I played c5. I don't have a better move, man. I mean, honestly, here I don't like Black's position. The hippo's not great, you know. I mean, to be honest, but I'm thinking like in retrospect now, f5. This is really strong. It might be too late for f5 now. All right, so we try c5. I think this is best. I'd be surprised if this isn't best. Lengyel Magyar, Kate Yobar, two good friends. c5. And now if d5... We have a serious problem here. I'm probably going to have to take it. And then white can take back, really, with either pawn. I guess he has to take with the c-pawn. Maybe I have something here with f5, but again, this is extremely dangerous if white gets into e6. I really need to like have h6, f5 or something to be able to play that, and even then it's dangerous. So I'm in a dangerous place here. I just took, and then he took with the c-pawn, and now... Yeah, f5's too dangerous, so I played a6. We're trying for b5. Yeah, and the next move is super strong by white. It's super strong. I think it's too slow. I don't know what to do here. Again, like f5, knight g5 is it's over, I think. I can't play it. And again, h6 is probably too slow. I'm just getting crushed. So, b5 just doesn't do anything. I have nothing better than this, but I'm in trouble. And this is a strong move. I think I'm lost here. I mean, basically. Unless I could take it. Okay, maybe there's a chance I could take it. I don't remember now what I was thinking. I just kind of rolled the dice with b5, but maybe I could try to take this. I looked at this. I was a little concerned about bishop h6, and I was definitely concerned about recapturing. But I'm not that sure about this. I mean, maybe black's okay here. Because I have pretty good control of f6. So I'm not sure what he does if I take. Bishop h6 is the killer. No, I think I saw this over the board, like during the game. It's extremely dangerous. So if I take on e4, presumably knight takes. Still not that clear though. Bishop takes d5. Bishop g7, king g7. Wow, this is very complicated. Very complicated. Wow, it's not that clear, actually. I don't know, I don't know. I mean, obviously he doesn't have to play f5. He could have just played a4 and kept the position. Maybe he should just do that first. Look at the engine now. f5, knight g5, it just sacks the exchange. Like, seriously. That's like the best thing I can do. Just straight up lose an exchange to stay alive. But objectively, black is lost here. I mean, the hippo really doesn't float. It's kind of a coffee house setup. just to keep it complicated. It's hard to play with white, honestly. It's easy to overextend. So I did b5. He goes here. And I figured I was like lost here. But again, I think I had to take, objectively I had to take on f5. I mean, this has to be my only chance. If I had it to do over again, I would take on f5. Take my chances with that. But I just kind of gambled with a stupid move. It's not sound. So I don't think he should release the tension necessarily. I mean, he could just like retreat back to c2. I was surprised when he exchanged on g7. The white is still probably clearly better. I don't think he has to do that. It gives me a little bit better control of f6. Now he retreats. Check. King h1. I mean, objectively, I would love to play like f6, but I mean, what am I going to do if this comes in here? It looks like I'm dead strategically. So I played knight f6. I didn't want to weaken the e6 square. This looks like a mistake again. He releases the tension, you know, when he doesn't have to. And then takes. And then he still has a strong attack, but I mean, now I have this. He's made some slight concessions. And I wanted to play rook h8, but I realized I'm like a dead man. If I do this, I figured I was a dead man. The point was to play rook h8, but I was afraid of this. Or maybe even queen f4. No, I mean, if he plays queen f4, I have another knight back to g8. So that wasn't totally dead. But I was terrified of rook takes f6. I have to take. I'm getting mated. Well, I mean, I can do this, right? Like, well, actually, just rook f1 is good. I'll have to sack a piece with knight f5. And just, I'm getting crushed. I mean, there's no way I'm surviving this position. There's no way I could survive this position. So I had to play that, which was, the whole point was to get on the H file. Now I'm just hunkering down. Queen f4. And I blundered my d6 pawn now, panicking. But it looks like I should play rook a e8. Aristochenko, what do I got? Oh, that's no. I'm not taking 5+3 challenges. We're going over subscriber games. I forgot I hung this pawn on d6, which was rather important. So this is my only chance. It looks like rook a e8. This is a blunder, and I'm just like dropping my d6 pawn. So now I'm like lost. Here, knight f3, objectively lost. And I'm still lost. But he played e5. And this is where it got funny, but he missed the tactic. I'm lost here completely. Knight takes d5 here, and then here. And I think this was good. I had to lose a piece, basically. I mean, I saw that, but I didn't know what else to do. So take here. And then I still have these dangerous pawns on the queen side, and I've got a pawn for the piece. Yeah, I don't know about a5. Maybe he's just exchange. No, he's dropping a knight. He had to. Yeah, his knight is trapped. Okay, a5, here, 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 knight g5, and then all of a sudden I have some play. This is dangerous now. I mean, I'm down a piece, but his knight is like trapped on b6, and I have devastating threats on the 7th. Check, takes, and now he's in big trouble. This is his extra piece, like paralyzed on b6. It was a lucky comeback. Now the time is just really low for both sides. And it's two connectors. I mean, this wins. But I mean, there's no question I was lost in this game, like really lost. I thought he handled the first 2/3 of the game like almost perfectly. I don't trust the hippo. You know, I mean, I normally wouldn't play it unless there's some kind of justification. A3 is a justification. You know, here there's no justification. Just flat out playing the hippo against the 4 pawns attack isn't good enough, probably. How long will I stream today? Yeah, another hour or so at least. I go over usually 10 games. That was only like number 4. We had a power outage though. Next up is our Thursday helper, Spectacular Camel, otherwise known as Dodgy Tactics. Guys, please support the stream if you can. We really need your support. This is a telethon. Also, come back for our simul on Sunday. I have a tournament game this Sunday, but Sunday is my most popular stream. We play a simul against 25 players. Friday, tomorrow we have Blitz if you want to play GM Orust. We have 11 a.m. in the morning, Central Central European time. I want to say Central time. Open challenges. So what is this? Game 4. It's Yabatis against someone named Torla. E4, knight c6, knight f3, g6. I mean, the best move is d4. Knight f3 is kind of committal for white. You know, people are like hoping you'll transpose back into e4, e5. But Asterbait should also play d4. I know he plays knight f3 a lot. Now bishop c4. I see this all the time in like Blitz. It's a reasonable way to play. It's like a closed Nimzovich. A closed Sicilian. Or the Joko Piano versus Nimzovich. Bishop g7, and now d3. Quiet, solid move. e6 now. Okay. White needs to think about this bishop. I guess maybe white should play like a3. And on d5, just pull the bishop back to a2. Objectively, that's like assuming this endgame is okay for white. Probably a little better than okay. I don't know though. I mean, his bishop is restricted. Our bishop is restricted. It's not a big deal. But I think he should give his bishop retreat squares. Knight c3 is a stopgap, but now the threat is renewed. So again, I think like a3 would be white's best idea. But instead he plays this kind of artificial way of stopping d5. h6, and now your bishop is shut out to the side. And now Yabatis just plays g5. And this is not the Grob. I mean, this move is logical. The bishop is now kind of out of play. If you play d6, the bishop will be very much shut down on g3. I think g5 is justified. And now, I was joking with Yabatis that I want to play like another Czech Grandmaster, Pavel Blatny. Famously won New York Open once somehow. Blatny plays like crazy openings. But, I mean, he does stuff like the hippo and whatever. One day he woke up and just started playing ridiculous things. I mean, I wanted to do knight g6, but it looks like it's better what Spectacular Camel did here. He played d5, just taking the center. And again, white should probably keep his center and just either retreat or go to b5. But he does what all the noobs do, which is trade off his center. This doesn't benefit white, really. I mean, if you had something here, if you had some play on the e-file, I guess this move would be like logical, but all it's doing is like helping black get this bishop to an open diagonal. This only really helps black, not so much white. So e takes d5, e takes d5, bishop b5, and now a6. Yeah, a6. I think we agreed that white should consider taking here. And I would just take with the knight to control the e5 square. But Yabatis talked about this. I didn't like this so much because of knight a4 and a blockade. But anyway, white retreats. And I thought it was funny now. Black should play b5. And after b5, bishop b3, f5, we're threatening to trap his other bishop. There's nothing for white to do here other than like h3, f4, bishop h2. Which is kind of like what happens in the game, but like check out white's bishops in this position. This is a chapter in a book that I recommend. Modern Chess Opening Theory by Swayton. The Soviet Grandmaster Alexei Swayton. He talks about coordination of pieces and pawns. And the problem is that white's bishops were outside the pawn chain. His bishops get hunted down by the black pawns. I mean, Viktor Korchnoi would be all over this. You know, he would kill white with these pawns, just like hunting down his pieces. The concept of like you're not supposed to move pawns like kind of goes out the window in certain situations when it's like effectively closed. It's possible to move all 8 pawns. Korchnoi was a huge master of pawn moves, who also played the Nimzovich defense. Yeah, but Yabatis messes up the move order. He plays this, and white could have played. He could have played like bishop e5 and missed it, trading off that trapped bishop for a good bishop. That is not a good exchange for black. After that, white is okay. He misses it. We play f4. It's the London system. Now both bishops are dead. Bishop f5. I think there's a lot of ways that black play this. And white tries to break out now. I would say that desperation, you know, has different effects. Like on some people, it causes them to lose their minds. Other people, it sort of forces them to play well. I think in this case, our opponent kind of lost his mind. He plays g3, but, you know, you're radically weakening the position to break that bishop out. White should be more patient here. Now takes, and now takes. And I don't know. I guess this is good. Knight h4. Knight d4. And I think Yabatis was trying to play bishop f6 to get his knight in there. Basically, take out the knight on h4 so we can get our knight to f3 to an ominous position. So watch what happens. f5 opening up the London system bishop here. And now white really lost his mind. He played f3, dropping a piece with check. And then the rest is just ugly. Check, check, check. And now here, and now knight takes b3, and he resigned. That was really humiliating. King b1, and he resigned. He's like, I've had enough. I don't want to go through the ringer anymore. The computer says knight d2 check. Like, you don't even take his rook. You humiliate him by going here, and then like discover check, and then taking his other rook with knight f2, leaving that one out of play. We get the live one, and then like leave the dead one on a1. It's horrible for white. All right. What's up, everybody? Thursday night. We're back from the other half of a power outage. Welcome, everyone. All right. Thanks for the subscribers supporting the stream. Here's William's game. All right. This is William versus Marcin. Marcin is a Polish name too, is it not? Yeah, that was a good game. William, our subscriber, here playing e4. Timsash in chat. We've got let me see something. Wait. Oh, there it is. All right, you had a comment. My latest. No, wait. One of my recent games with not so weak opponent. He's a chess coach rated 1800 ELO. Okay, I just wanted to get that out there. Oh no, I closed the window. Not again. Yeah, I just wanted to share that statement. William gave us the info. He's an 1800. His opponent is an 1800 chess coach. All right, analysis stream. Are we still here? Yeah. So e4, g6, d4, bishop g7, now knight f3. I will say, although I've played this move a lot myself, it's relatively mild. It's not really a very aggressive way for white to play against the modern. So if you have aggressive intentions, I think you pretty much have to play like knight c3 here. Knight f3 is like a quiet, solid way of treating this, where you're usually going to castle on the king side. There are some cases where you could play like the 150 attack or whatever with knight c3 and bishop e3 and castle queenside. But mostly knight f3 is a solid, safe move. Now black plays e6. Speaking of the hippo, now this might be better for black, right? Because white doesn't have the option of f4 like Sumer did against me. I think the hippo here is better. Without the f4, f5, this sort of Steinitzian, I say that because like the first double fianchetto I ever saw was Steinitz versus Günzburg from the 1800s. Earliest attempt at a hippo by Gideon, what was his name? Isidor Günzburg. So e6, we expect a hippo at this point. I don't know what the best setup is, with knight f3 against the hippo. Normally I just like bring both knights out. I'll probably play something like there, there, there. You can always get aggressive with h4. But I don't recommend playing like this without, knowledge of what you're doing. It's really a half hippo. I mean, maybe I would prefer to play b6 for black and do the double fianchetto first. Not Grunfeld, Günzburg. I'm talking about. Anyway, all right, e6. Yeah, maybe this isn't even right away. Like that was. I mean, Steinitz Günzburg was knight c3 b6. Steinitz didn't play knight f3. That's pretty modern for the 1800s, by the way. Like black playing a double fianchetto is not something you saw too often. Günzburg is pretty much ahead of his time there. But knight f3, e6 is kind of committal. Bishop e3, knight e7. So now I expect queen d2, trying for bishop h6. If you get that in, you're just almost winning. I mean, this is basically like terrible for black. But most hippo setup players will know that, and they'll play h6. And then it's tough to make progress. So instead, there's some random game here with Fries Nielsen as black. He plays crazy openings. Anyways, e6, bishop e3, knight e7, bishop d3, d6, queen d2, threatening bishop h6, and now black's in trouble, I think. Black really needs to play h6 here. I don't think there's an option. I just don't like this for black. After knight d7, you're all over him. White has a very good game already after bishop h6. That's a major mistake. And now castles. I mean, here we have a choice. We can play knight c3, bishop to hg7, or h4. I think any of these moves are possible. Obviously, this is the most aggressive. We're threatening to win by h5, etc. Knight c3 leaves the options open as far as which way to castle, but we really should castle on the queen side or not castle at all and try to attack here once we get in bishop h6. So you play bishop takes g7. Like against Sumaher, I mean, this might be a minor inaccuracy. You release the tension and you give black better control of like h6 and f6. I think it's better to wait here and play h4. Maybe black has something. Maybe black has control of g4. Could do something weird like knight f6. But it looks like, okay, he has knight there. But you're certainly, never worse in this position under any circumstances. So you took, and then played h4. See, right, he has an option here to play h5. I don't know if he should play it, though. Black has various options. h5, h6, knight f6. Maybe that's the most solid. I mean, there you have that advance, which looks kind of nasty, actually. So take, and I don't know where he's going. This looks bad for black. Okay, h5. That's the safest. And I guess here, here you played a little strangely. I mean, queen c3 looks a bit weird. I don't like that we're leaving our pieces undeveloped and moving our queen. So I would think about e5. I don't know if that pawn can be guarded enough. But mainly knight c3. Probably after e5 black is okay though. So I mean, I kind of understand what you're doing here. You're preventing him from playing e5, which might be a good idea. You've got this, an alternate way to develop your knight. That's kind of interesting. And now black weakens his dark squares more, which I don't really like. Black could consider, I don't know, f6 maybe? Just trying to shore up the dark squares. This is obviously an unconventional position. He can also like retreat his king off the diagonal. But we don't have... I guess we don't have a concrete threat, to be honest. So black can probably just play like b6. Maybe that's the best of his options. b6 and complete the hippo. The complete hippo. So I don't know. c6 looks like he's weakening the dark squares more. It allows this too, which tears open the position somewhat. e5, take. But at least he got his pawn to e5. He has pawns on the dark squares in the center, which is correct. And you have kind of a bad octopus there on d3. Compensated by his backward pawn on d6. Black obviously could take with the pawn as well. I mean, maybe this is a better move. I don't know. Objectively, not leaving a weakness on d5. I'm not really sold on this. I don't think if it was my game, I would play d5. I think I would just hold off a little longer. Here's a move you could consider too. I mean, knight g5, knight d2 developing. Like really, your pawns belong on the dark squares, so your bishop's not blocked in. Perhaps you should consider e5, but I wouldn't play that in this position necessarily. This knight is awkward, Yeah, I mean, maybe queen c3 is just not great. You should just develop naturally with like knight c3. It's hard to play against the hippo though. Queen c3, c6, d5 check here, takes. Now knight to g5, but you're losing. It feels like you're losing track of development now. We really need to get developed. This knight needs to get into the game. Knight g5. Black seems better coordinated. You still got 4 pieces at home. Queen is awkwardly placed. Yeah, I'm not that enthusiastic about this capture either. Your knight is strong, and okay, if he plays f6, we'll have to decide. There's no reason to release the tension right away. F takes. Knight f3. Got another knight coming there. I mean, obviously he could consider taking with a knight here. Yes, there's a weakness on d5. This is a good move. Black could sack the exchange. He has monster knights here, and very powerful play along the f file. I would certainly consider this for black as an exchange sack with some promise. Yeah, I mean, there's no way I'm playing knight to c3. I would vote this like the worst move of the game. That bishop is just, it's a pawn. I mean, I don't know. You might be able to force his hand with like b4 at some point, but this looks horrible. Like, black's going from clearly better to very slightly better at all with knight takes c3. Yeah, rook h3 is kind of weird. It's a move. I mean, I feel like now white's hardly worse at all. I guess he has queen b6. There is this and this. He still has like rook f4 too. Okay, we probably survive. You can castle kingside and try to survive. Maybe even grab this pawn on d6. So I don't know, man. Looks like black threw away his game with knight takes d3 check. I guess he's not worse, but he's not really better anymore. This is nothing, and I don't know about taking. Well, not that I don't know about it. I mean, it looks wrong. You let his pawns be mobile in the center, you could be in trouble. So, are you going to bust me with a Merle or one of those other Smurf accounts, Uber Driver? So I don't think you should release this tension. I mean, you have him doubled up, and maybe castle's queenside. This has got to be best. If he does d4, I mean, you're going to blast him with c3 at some point, maybe immediately. And no matter what, you're just like moving over to b1. White is fine. Now white is better, probably. No, you're not Mr. Draw. Mr. Draw said he's a retired FM. Yeah, this is terrible. Taking there, unless you have a tactic, you know. Pawn takes pawn, queen a5 check, c3, and now black's good. I feel like white went from better to worse now. And he's fully coordinated. You know, it's like black's king is still a little bit open, so white might be okay. But the central pawns to me like give black the better hand. The upper hand, as they say. Finally he castled. Hanging pawns. And then, I mean, the pawns are ideal as they stand here. Black needs some threats. Queen a4. Drops the d5 central. This d5 pawn is key. I don't know if this is a good idea, making those pawns, you know, fixated. But I think this queen should stay in the center with like d4 under his. It should be keeping an eye on those squares. Yeah, queen is out of play, but it's tied down to like defending the pawn now. But I don't know if this is good. I mean, I think it's tough for black. I mean, maybe the point is like he's not really better, and he has to kind of like just come to accept that and just try to not be worse. That's an aggressive move, actually very powerful. So I was thinking like this is why we want to put our queen here. If this, we have queen here, for example. Maybe not a big deal, but I don't know, you know, how safe is black's king here? You're still coming into d3. But let's just say hypothetically, rook d1, knight d3, kabling. You know, is the black king really safe? There's knight f4. We move our king. I don't know. You know, it doesn't look safe. I'm way ahead of you, Uber driver. But I thought after this, yeah, I guess he still has an active queen here. Yeah, b4 is ugly. Queen g3, knight e5. And I mean, you could probably like sack the exchange at some point. But the main move is f3, right? Maybe even, yeah, f3. f3 is dangerous because of e3. You've got takes. So I guess rook d1, then queen a2. So it looks like we have to play something stupid like a3. I don't want to just drop our pawn. This looks like a really bad move strategically. He forced that queen back. And Uberdrive was talking about, I mean, now it's like, okay, you gotta play knight d3. I mean, come on now. My friend Emery Tate, he wanted to kill me at the end. Knight d3. Wait, he has to play this. I tried to collect his entry fee from the first Saturday. I didn't try to collect it. I was just reminding him, you know, passing along the message. We had a very strange relationship. I wouldn't say we were enemies. He started acting very strange. Alright. Rook a d1, knight g4, rook d4, b5. Frenemies. Now you just piled up on d5. That's a problem. So if we try to play f3, what happens? So it appears you waited too long, and we probably shouldn't take this off of f1. What's the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen? Uberdriver's been hanging in the forum on chessgames.com. Very, very modern, very up to date. Alright. Not knight h3. I mean, what's the move? It's got to be f3. You get forked with knight e3 and then knight f5. Shit. I mean, I really want to play this, but it's just boom. And then there. Maybe there's a way out. No. Damn it. So he plays... Yeah, I don't know what to do. Damn it. There's no good move. Knight h3 still doesn't help. Really. I mean, white's seriously worse. b4 did not help our case by weakening that c3 pawn. All we need is like one move. Just we need to play f3 somehow. There's just no way to make it work. There's nothing to do. Exchanging queens would help white, like, maybe have a chance to survive. I was thinking, I don't know. Yeah, this is... Alright, this is reasonable. Knight h3. And then e3, really? Our queen is trapped on g3. It's horrible. Yeah, it's horrible. It seemed like white had a chance here. But you need to break up his center. His center kills you. Do you ever have f3? Yeah, this is a bad move. But I was concerned that if you play rook d1, he just eats your pawn. But apparently that's okay for white. I was looking at this, dropping another, and then taking here. This is very tactical. Apparently you have this move. That's pretty dangerous, actually. b4 was a really bad move. That was like your worst move. Positionally ugly. But I think here we need to look. a4. Rook d1 is okay. But this position I couldn't figure out. Oh shit, you have c4. Oh my god. d4. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard. The computer says white's almost okay, but this is hard. White is just not quite okay. Those central pawns are just too strong. If he could only, like, destroy them somehow, there's just no way to destroy them. He blockaded it. Now he's threatening c4. Black plays b5. He's like psychic. Psychic network kicked in. What does white do now? Like a4? Can you play a4? So a4, a6, and then like BFD. That's the point, right? We didn't make any progress, and we still can't break out. If you play f3, you get knight e3'd every single time. And there's just no way to... You have nothing to do. It's horrible. If rook a1, queen b6 anyway, it's just the end of the world. Can you do this? Alright, one last question. You played rook fd1. Black played b5. You played rook fd1. Black played queen b6. Okay. So let's ask a stupid question. What happens if you take here? How bad is it? Queen takes is not a problem. The problem is knight takes. Threatening discoveries and threatening the rook on d1. And now rook check. King g8. No checks, mom. So that's the question. Like, what's going on here? Is there a mate? Is there a discovered mating attack for black, or does white have anything? I mean, let's just do rook d6. I want to see it. Rook b7? This is your only chance. But he's only got one double check, and that's knight h3, and you've got king h2. And if queen g1, king here, and you're just winning. Check here. There's no rook f3. We can take it with a knight. So I'm having trouble finding a move for black. There must be something. Wow, you're winning. Wow. Okay, so he doesn't have knight f2. He has e3. So now check, king g8, and this is just too slow. Oof. Yeah. Yeah, it's like he was unstoppable. The power of the center, you know, but I would really like, I can't stay for more than like 40 an hour or more, but I would really like to point out a move that I think is kind of subtle. The more I teach chess, the more I understand the importance of the center. This is your big mistake, you know, objectively. There's no reason to give that point up here and fix his pawns and make his pawns movable. Like, maybe he'll play rook f4 and maybe he'll take over at some point, but you don't have to give it up till you have to give it up. You know, I think this is a very unnecessary concession for white. You're lucky you're okay here. You played in a very awkward kind of way. And after this, things started to get harder. I don't understand why he played queen a5 check in the first place, honestly. He could have just played pawn takes pawn, threatening e4 and winning a piece, right? I mean, I guess you have rook d1, but, you know, what are you going to do here? Now e4 is live. Anyway, interesting game. We got to go. All right, we got Jim WJ Loof is up next. WJ. All right. Blitz chess. My first Blitz game in 9 months. Chaos incarnate. Nice. Alistair Crowley. The power went out when we started talking about Alistair Crowley. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Ooh. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to take a break. We'll be back in like 2 minutes. Sorry, everybody, we're back. All right. Back. Uber driver. Ponda needs to leak the lizard. So, I had to take Ponda to the bathroom. Anyway. Welcome back. You missed it. There was a blinding light. I saw Ilumjinov in the blinding light. Move 11. Alright, we're going to see a fun game now. WJ Liu's first game in 9 months. First Blitz game. WJ Liu, I'm sorry you don't submit more games in general. Okay, so the ever fun King's Gambit. I'm really into playing the Falkbeer now. And I like this like John Nunn Gambit with C6. That's devastating. Like you play this against anybody under, I see everything. They take here, they like resign in 2 moves. Check here, check. Like nobody under 1800 can survive more than like 5 moves without hanging a rook in this position. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The Falkbeer is actually sound. You know, I think there was a kind of conception that the Falkbeer wasn't correct or something. I think it's absolutely sound. You had a cardiac event in front of your computer, so it's been hard. You've like associated bad memories with that? That's horrible, man. Alright. Try to think positively. I don't know what to say. Sounds so weak. Alright, so e takes f4. Knight f3. And now knight c6. Yeah, this is like the least explored option for black in the King's Gambit accepted. I played this a few times. It's really amazing how few games there are. You know, I mean, knight c6 is like a fully playable move. Why are there only like 10 games? I played it against Alex Minea in Arad in around 2008. Last round of an IM tournament. That was a draw. Knight c6, interesting move. Now, I guess d4 seems kind of critical. Trying to get the pawn back, right? Kamsky played the King's Gambit. That seems weird. Kamsky playing the King's Gambit. Okay. Kamsky beat Mamedyarov in the King's Gambit. That was when he came back. That's really weird. Alright. So bishop c4, and now knight h6. Guarding f7. But that's an unusual move. I would say you don't normally ever play knight h6 unless it's like obligatory. I'm a big fan of knight h6 on move 2. Move 1. In some cases, on move 1. Yeah, I mean, g5 is normal. The d6 is probably some transposition. I mean, I guess you could even play like knight f6, but then I don't know what it is. You could even play that. It's amazing how many options you have here. Like Uber Driver saying h6 is a move. Uber Driver is secretly Murray Turnbull. Uber Driver, are you Murray Turnbull? Are you serious? We never played over the board. Murray was real big on the... He was obsessed with the Fischer defense to the King's Gambit. He swore by that. Yeah, h6 novelty. Wow, someone even played bishop c5. It's like a reversed fried liver or something. Here, king f1. Oh my god, what is this? This is for reals? That's chaos. Now we're really talking chaos. These have to be correspondence games, by the way. I mean, this is not an over-the-board game. There's no way those noobs are finding these moves without the help of computers. Okay, so knight h6, just a creative try. Well, at least f7 is protected. And now g5. Okay. The issue is, what happens if white plays like h4? Like, can he... I know that seems crazy, but can he undermine your pawn chain or something? I'm concerned about where his knight is going to go, first of all. Well, he's going to sack a piece, but you're guarding against those bishop takes f7 type of stuff. Okay, yeah, Ubdrive, you're right. Like, g3 is a serious option. Yeah, the way you were raving about h6, I was sure you were Murray. Alright, g5. Anyway, whatever. It's a nice try. d4. Yeah, I mean, it's like a normal defense, except the knight is on h6. You would normally have like bishop g7, h6 instead of... You normally have h6 instead of knight h6. It would be a normal position. So the problem is the pawn chain. Like, how are you going to keep it protected? It's going to get undermined. And your knight, you know, I mean, like, you can't bring it to f7. Yeah, now d5 might be a problem. The computer says tearing the pawn structure apart. Yeah, if you play f6, knight g5, queen h5 check. White just played very, very calmly now. I guess c3 is pretty slow. A little too slow. I felt like d5, though. I mean... I know there's bishop c5 check. Okay, that's the problem. There's check. I forgot he can play... He can play knight e7. Actually, takes... This is not that clear. It's really weird. Queen h5. This might even be... Well, I don't know what you're going to do about that. You might have to play... Yeah, this is bad, man. This is bad. Yeah, I mean, d5 looks pretty strong, actually. So h4 or d5 are strong. c3 is too mild-mannered. Yeah, that was a huge mistake, putting your knight in h6. I didn't think it would be that bad. And then this is just ridiculous. a3. That's not a problem. Yeah, I mean, like, white is playing this very, like, Joko Piano style chess. Like, he's not playing the King's Gambit. He's, like, very quiet. He's playing the wrong opening, I think, for his style. Bishop b7, knight b7. He didn't undermine your pawn chain. And then e5, which doesn't really do anything. I mean, he's trying to get his knight to e4. I thought you should blast him with d5 here. When I see this position, white has a space advantage. You just don't want to let him put his knight on e4. The other option is knight f5, of course. He gives you, you know, a good square. But then it's like Fisher's give squares, get squares thing. I think I'd rather shut him down first, and then if he takes en passant, we take with the knight and control e4. So you played c5, not as good as d5. Actually, yeah, you're in trouble now. That's another issue. Yeah, this is really chaotic. Your position was chaotic evil. Alright, probably best d6. Yeah, it's like take a book, give a book. Yeah, you're hanging on now. So e6 takes, knight takes g5. Can we do like an Uber driver thing? He goes for it. I gotta admit, like, e6 is very tempting for white here. Now, knight g5 doesn't work. You can, like, run away with your king over there. So now he's threatening knight takes g5. Like, this is the first time he's really had a big concrete threat. I mean, you could play g4. What's he going to do if you play g4? What a weird position. White has to play knight e1, which is really weird. I have no idea what's going on here. So it takes here. Yeah, I mean, this gives us some options. He can play c4 and like shut you down. That's what he did. But there's more obviously like that. And now I think you're in trouble. His move is a blunder because he missed this. The move itself is not a blunder. Like, c4 is a good idea positionally, but he's just missing this crushing tactic, knight takes g5. The Uber driver theme. No, the guy missed your tactic, knight takes g5. And there's no in-between, like, okay, he does an in-between move, but it's not a big deal. WJ Luke needs to like castle queenside here and hope he can survive. Which is basically what happened. You know, he did c4 you castle queenside. Now, I like it. I like your game. I mean, you've got knight coming to f5, the pawn rolling. Somehow you like managed to like make it work. I mean, black's threatening d5. Your king isn't that exposed. b7 is a good defender. Unbelievable. Yeah, so now you have g4, knight f5, d5. One of the above. This is just a kind of routine move, but not great. I mean, this rook is not in the game yet. You know, you could play that, for example. I mean, I'm a little worried about knight e5. You could play that. You could play that, like forcing his knight to e1. You could just like ditch a pawn, you know, to open up his king position. You have a lot of options here. This move is not the most maybe efficient. I can see this is what you wanted though. Like you have both your rooks geared for the g8 and f8, and that's not bad. But I'm a little concerned about the center. Like if he plays this, he's all over your center. Can't believe that was a mistake for white. I mean, knight e4 is like the most natural move in the world. The computer gives it double question mark. What is he supposed to play here? C takes b5. Why? Because of pawn takes c4? Because this you can just take here? And this is a problem? I would be scared to take that bishop. So natural looking move, knight f5. So you could have taken here. He can't recapture. I don't think so. I mean, it's a piece. Believe me, I would think like a long time before I grabbed that bishop. but does he have enough compensation? This actually looks kind of dangerous. Yeah, white's winning. Wow. You can't take it. Damn. So that's not a joke, man. So knight f5, I think, is a logical move. And now you defended with the defender knight. You went after the e6 pawn, but I think you should go for the jugular. Why didn't you go for his jugular with like g4? I mean, you're all set up here. He's not really threatening anything. He has to move his knight, and then you hit him with something like f3, and it's very disruptive. White has to be careful. It looks like black's at least okay, you know? This is kind of like unexpected. I feel like that knight was doing a good job. It's holding d6. I don't know if you even want to take this pawn. Then white just blasted this piece sacrifice blunder and hallucinated he had e7. Wow. So it's just like all the floodgates. Everybody's down to 2 minutes, and the floodgate, the blunder floodgates just busted loose. Just remain calm and carry on at this point, as they say. White just went nuts. Just take it. Always take it. Not that. This. Pawn on the 7th alert. That move is like far too easy. No, I mean you don't want to give up a piece here. Black could do something fancy, you know. No. Like I was thinking that, you know. I mean this is stupid. Just take the pawn. I mean there's no question. So WJ Luke got excited and sacked a rook back just to give white a chance. And then king h1. Now, oh no. Here. Now you're going to lose one of your rooks. And then your knight would check. No, you've got king takes. Well, that's a blunder by white. Wow. Unbelievable. He has what? What does he do here? What the heck does he play in this position? He takes the a queen check question mark. What is white's move? Oh my god, you're kidding me, right? Take pawn knight? Are you serious? Dude, you're joking with me, right? Are you serious? Taking here, making a knight? What's the difference? We just take it. What I don't understand is, like, how does white survive this position? You know, it looks like you'd have to play queen d5 or something, trade queens and to lose a piece on b2. I mean, is there some way that this is survivable? Like, we take here, and then you're in the devastating pin? The pin of no return? Are you serious? And then g3 check drops a piece. Is that possible? That's the answer? No, like white's losing the rook ending. I don't get it, man. I can't figure it out. Well, anyway, the computer says plus 4.7. I guess there's nothing to figure out. What do you want him to play? Oh, I'm hallucinating. He could take on f8. Oh my god. That's insane. Everybody just assumed that it's mate. That's incredible. And there's nothing for black. Well, that's the craziest position ever. I can't believe it. There's nothing for black here. You have to play this. Win the queen back. Queen d5. Takes, rook takes, and you're just like down a piece. Down the exchange, down a piece. Wow. Yeah, that's a fun game, man. That was a fun game. He took there naturally with check. And now he just drops a piece. And you got him. Easy. No, that was really psychologically. I stared at the position for 2 minutes. And I didn't think he could take. That's crazy. What an amazing position, seriously. I didn't even consider this was even like a legitimate possibility. Wait, has no check. I'm just like, oh, okay, there's a discover here that wins for black for sure. And there's nothing. Wow. Yeah, wherever you go, there's some kind of inner position, either f3 or d5. And then he like basically forces an exchange of queens. That's brutal. Interesting game, Matt. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. All right, we're running out of time here, guys. So, Mule log, Mule Skinner. The last games will have shorter coverage. Sorry, we do the best we can. Move 11, thank you. Thank you, man. Move 11 gifted, the only person to gift or donate today. Am I right in saying that? Sean Chess subscribed, but he was the only gifter. The founder. Dude, play the Falkbeard with c6. Okay, Mule. For today's game analysis, 90-30 OTB. I don't understand this comment. It features the rare bishop c1 to g6 check. Reminder not to play with cap on and to look at the board before moving a piece. Game 5. And he says, don't play with your caps lock on. Don't play with the cap on. No caps. Alright. Mule Skinner playing the French. The Wiener. Oh, my favorite Bronstein variation. Why? So knight c6 is interesting. It has the highest winning percentage, or one of the highest winning percentages here. This looks really good, though. This variation is the most solid for black, no doubt. This is more experimental. Yeah, I don't like this. This happened to me before. Yeah, b4. This is a really weird line. I mean, it feels like the bishop is just toast on b6. I would not play this for either side. It's just too weird. I don't understand what's happening here. Moon Waken. I keep thinking of Christopher Walken when I see his name. Thanks, Move 11, for the gift sub. Let's get the hype train started. Tomorrow's Friday, an early Friday celebration. Celebration of power outage. Yeah, this is such a gross move. Like, b4 and bishop b2. That is so bizarre. So the influence of that bishop will be heard It will be heard. No, seriously, what is the plan? Like, white plays knight a4, and the bishop will be heard, echoing through the hallways of the pawn structure. Oh man, this is tough. This is tough. Yeah, I think Ponda's gonna start streaming. I figured if Uber Driver starts streaming, Ponda's definitely gonna start streaming. Seriously, he can beat Uber Driver all day long in streaming. All right, bishop e2. Where's everybody going? We only have 11 viewers. Knight on g to e7. No one wants to really analyze chess. So this is a pretty strong player. 2061 FIDE. I hate both sides of this position. So it turns out g3 makes sense. You know, you got to get your bishop in the game. I really hate both sides of this. Queen d2, just waiting. I wouldn't pick this variation if I were black, though. I hate it for both sides. I can't stop saying that. Elysian got a gift sub from Asterbait. Thank you, Asterbait. Close to the hype train. So we transpose to a GM game. But what's the deal with the e4 pawn after knight a4? Are we going to like lose a bishop to c4? Oh my god. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I would never play such a weird variation for black without really knowing what we're doing. So obviously, if you take here, you get the steamroller. Good luck with a6. But it's, you know, it's forced. We have to play something like that. Let our bishop get digested. Albin Sion. Hi. Yeah, I don't want to give up the center. Anyway, I don't want to play that. I don't want to let this bishop, like, exist. The problem is if he plays knight c5, what are we going to do about it? If we take, he opens up his bishop on the long diagonal. I hate this. I hate this variation. Hard to play. So you took, allowing c4. Yeah, better not to do that. Romain Edouard played a6. The white took on b6. But I honestly didn't expect him to take on b6. I thought white would drop this bomb in on c5. Maybe it's not enough. If we take the pawn, how's that pawn? I don't know, this position is giving me a headache. I hate it for both sides. It's so strange. So white instead played g3. Now we have takes. This is the game. Knight takes e4, and then, oh my god. Well, black has to watch this. Black has to watch for c4, c5. Obviously, if queen d5, we have bishop g2. Knight f6 check. So he's playing for some kind of tactic here. Can you sack a pawn? Please get me out of this. Let me out. I want to get out. No, it doesn't look good. I'm just wondering if it's possible we could potentially sacrifice a pawn. Wow, it's playable. I feel like we're playing the Albin. According to the engine, it's playable. Bishop f5. Like a weird Albin. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I need to break out here. I hate f5. Alright, then knight c5. And of course there. Rook g1. Bishop takes c5. Which way does he take? Takes to the b pawn. I mean, clearly opening the bishop is an option. takes this way. I mean, there's still possibly c4 later. Castling. Dude, this is the craziest position ever. There you go. The first time I'm just barely starting to like black's position. If we get in e5, so I was wondering, this is nothing. Gotta take. You can take on e5. No. You gotta trade. Take here. White is like the master of chaos. That's a super powerful pawn on e5. Morales, I don't know if he's here. Was he here? Did you play this guy before? Have you played the same guy before? I feel like you had another game that was similar that we analyzed. Is it just my imagination? The protected passer on e5 is extremely dangerous. Well, the future protected passer. Maybe I just saw this game. I don't know. I guess I just played through it. That's all it is. No, I must have just played through it. That's why it's so familiar to me. I must have played through it by accident on a previous stream where he wanted me to go over a different game. You know, now it's like, now it seems like it's similar to another game, but it was this game. Black's just barely holding. I feel like we did this game already. Is he here? Is Morales here? We did this game. Now it seems even more clear to me. I swear we went over this. Yeah, we went over this last time. It seemed different, though. Very weird. Yeah, I remember something like this, too. What was his comment? He said, this is 6 hours ago. For today's game analysis, it's game 6, by the way. Did I go over game 5? I did that, right? Oh my god. It's supposed to be game 6. I'm gonna go get me another beer. I just went over the last game. I had a totally new take on it this time, though. Alright, Morales is white. Why is every game he plays the French from both colors? More aggressive to play Queen E2. That was weird how long it took me to realize it was the same game. Now this is a neat move. That's a sharp move. Nice try. Oh no. So he plays h6, and I mean, you sack a piece here, right? It's like a knight d7 Caro-Kann. You have lasting compensation after bishop g6 check. My friend, the Weedmaster used to love. We had a game in a Caro-Kann. He loved this sort of piece sack. Yeah, this is just not fun for black. I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. h6 is extremely asking for it. Foxy Noxy. Yeah, knight g5 is a nice spicy try. Black d6, Rockport. So you played this. He took, and you wanted to play bishop g6, but you made the move without really looking at the board, and instead you played bishop c1 to g6. Oh my god. So he like picked up his dark square bishop when he was trying to play bishop g6 by accident. I vote for... He's probably going to play bishop f4, but I vote for bishop d2. Yeah. Asterbait would play bishop e3. He picked up the bishop, has to move it. It's like touch move. g5 is bad, h6 is bad. So it's d2, e3, or f4. But bishop f4 just asks to trade pieces with bishop d6, and e3 blocks your pieces, so this is a no-brainer. Draw, bishop d5. Oh, trading pieces? Man, do you have rook takes e4 here? No, he has knight f6. Oh, darn. Rook e4, knight e4, queen e2, knight f6. We're just down a piece. Now we're not down a piece anymore. Nice. So after this, he has a problem. Wow. It's suddenly not so easy. Maybe he shouldn't move his knight off of e5 at all. The question becomes, what is black's best move here? It's going to take some calculation. Bishop f3. I was thinking bishop f3. It doesn't work though, does it? Because after queen takes e2, you just play rook takes e5. Well, that's not so great. Wow, so he's just winning. But I mean, bishop d5, how does that work? Oh, you're serious? He has this? Oh, man. He has bishop takes c4. Jeez. He just takes and checks on d4. Oh, I thought you were alright. Yeah, you're lost now. Yeah, we didn't see the queen d4 check. Neil Skinner is just down a piece. Now it's just total desperation. This was all lost though. He played on for fun. He just made a terrible mouse slip. Sorry, man. Nice mouse slip. Alright, learn, study, game. Neil Skinner, Nefyadov. I gotta get Nefyadov's game. Guys, we gotta go soon. We gotta be quick. The last game, Nefyadov, and then I think one more. Nefyadov versus Rugli. Wolverhampton League, Rugli. This is Nefyadov with black. The Slav. the classic mainline long variation, which I played so many games with white. Castle, castle, and then the ultra lame bishop d2. This is like... Dude, this is such a famous variation for both sides. Uwe. I mean, bishop d2 is so lame. What is white doing? He just doesn't know anything. I can't believe that's even a move. It hasn't been played since like 1977. Never in my life have I played bishop d2. I played knight h4. I played a million games with queen e2. And that's about it. I mean, there's queen b3, which is like a forced draw, I think. Yeah. You know everything, Uber driver. That's it, man. I mean, that's all you got. Maybe knight a2. I don't know. Is that a move? Wow, this actually has a good score. Theoretically, you could play knight a2, I guess. I don't really like this bishop d2. It's boring. Okay, here. And then he plays queen b3. a5. Oh no, Nefedov, you never play queen a5. That's my Feingold rule. No, queen a5 is always bad. You don't know that? You watch my stream a lot. I can't believe Nefedov played queen a5 here. I mean, a5 is so solid. What are you going to do? Ullman Tishbiriak, 1986. Never play queen a5. It's like Apocalypse Now. Never get out of the boat. Nothing bad happens with queen a5 till your queen gets trapped there. It happened to me against one Hungarian IM. I played b6 and like trapped my own queen. Or it happened to me like other times in the Gingy Indian. You can create all kinds of ways to get your queen trapped on a5. Okay, knight h4. White probably doesn't have anything special though. So what do we do? Bishop g6, the solid approach. Oh, yeah. Now Nefedov's gonna chomp on him. f4 is pretty bad. That's like that looks like one of my bad blitz games. f4 is very, 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 very optimistic. That's like, I can do anything I want, and it's, you know. f4 prevents e5 at the risk of, like, weakening his entire structure. That's like in Utopia, I could play f4 and everything would be fine. I introduced you to the concept of c5, like tearing the pawn structure apart on this diagonal. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I would first of all, obviously, you know, consider playing c5. Well, c5 directly seems like pretty good. I don't see any reason to hesitate here, Neffy. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, when black plays c5, white plays something like rook a1, you know, takes, okay, this isn't over, and like white has some kind of tactics, maybe. White ought to play like king h1 probably at some point to get the hell off this diagonal. No, so that kind of position. As much as I made fun of queen a5, I mean, it's not that unusual. It can happen. Yeah, f4 is horrifying. Yeah, but he saw the writing on the wall. I mean, black's going to play c5 or e5. He's like panicking. Oh, I have to stop him. But you can't, and that's the problem, you know, with bishop d2. I don't know if knight b6 is as good. Nefedov decided to develop a little before he plays. Before he plays like c5. What about bishop f3? It's not a problem. After bishop e2, wouldn't you want to play this to try to discourage c5? I feel like Pavel should just not mess around with the c5. I mean, you should play it as soon as possible. If bishop f3, whatever, you know, we can play this if we have to. But the point is, like, get in c5 before it's too late. Okay, so this, like, overly preparing. And then, of course, he doesn't play bishop f3, so c5. So he takes. Now, little issue. We have to take with the queen. You took with the bishop. Wow. I told you about queen a5. So what's wrong with this? We're going back here. If a5, we have a problem, Houston. What could possibly go wrong with the queen on a5? Takes, and we play with 2 knights versus 2 b's. And white is slightly better. I can't believe he did this. Does he have something here? 94? Right? You have a tactic, rook takes d2. That doesn't work. Oh, you don't have a tactic. My bad. Maybe that's what Nefedov thought. Maybe you thought you had you thought you had it too. It's a weird psychological trick. You like forget the queen is defending here, and like white's just winning. Are you serious? The guy just like wins your queen, because nothing could possibly go wrong with the queen on a5. Queen directly trapped. You have to sack the exchange, and now you just don't have any compensation or enough. You could try, like, knight d5, right? But it's not enough. Maybe it's something, though. Let's see. You have some compensation. Knight f1, knight f4. And maybe he has enough compensation. Just about hanging on there. You're very lucky. You're very, very lucky that this isn't necessarily lost. Whew, that's like cutting it close. White just didn't do it. I can't believe it. And then Nefi sacked the exchange anyway. But this is enough. 2 pawns and a solid structure. Did you offer a draw yet? That seemed like a good moment to offer a draw. Queen e5 is awkward. We want the queen in front of the bishop. But we're just dropping b7, and there's no good place to put the rook. Yeah, that sucks. You probably have to play rook b8, and he's doubling rooks. And then you probably have to play like bishop c7, and then he's playing this. Yeah, this is really annoying. No draw offers. It would be a reasonable place to offer a draw, seriously. If you're not sure what's going on, it depends on the opponent's rating. That's a weird move, queen e5, and that's understandable. Oh no. He doesn't take the pawn on b7? I would wonder why. Like, you know, it defends against the threat of queen g3. How many moves do we have that, like, defend against the threat of queen g3? Hey, the one that, like, wins a pawn? He doesn't play bishop takes f3. That's so weird. Too cautious. Now b7's hanging. You've got rook b8. He's got a passed a pawn. Yeah, I mean, you can see this player's problem. He's too afraid. He's a serial chicken. Every time he has a chance, he, like, doesn't do it. And Count Nefedov was, like, down the exchange, but better. Unbelievable. No reason to do that. Like, you have total control. All you need to play king e7, f6. You're better with pawns on either side. At least a draw. Yeah, this I hate this. Like, his rook is immobilized. He has no penetration. Just play king e7 and you're coming over here. I mean, your position is perfect. You have no losing chances. But trading pieces looks kind of dangerous. Like, if you lose your queenside pawn, I guess it's just a draw. I mean, yeah. You gotta lock it down with bishop d4, e5. Yeah, your king sucks too. You could easily be, like, lost here if you're not careful. I don't know if you should do, like, g5. Maybe you should do g5, g6, but g5, king f5. That's a problem. This is awkward. If you play g5, he has king f5. Like, what are you going to do? You could easily even lose. And I hate f5, but he's going to come around the other end. Over here. Right. Yeah, man, that was interesting. Good game. Kind of a good game. You know, you probably were close to winning. But, you know, queen a5, it was funny how that came to happen, that your queen really got trapped. Virtually trapped. Happened to me before. Study. I learned my lesson about that, hopefully. Guys, we don't have much time left. So last games. Ripun and Hot Dog. Quickly. Ripun 40 move game against streamer Ruchess. Rechess. Rechess versus Ruchess. Ruchess versus Rechess. d4, knight f6. c4, e6, knight f3, d5. Yeah, Nefedov, interesting game. Psychologically, we could see your opponent was too fearful. He missed some opportunities. What happened? Will was such a handsome young man. White t-shirt on? Pack of cigarettes on him. And he even said hello to me. I blushed. Dude, what are you talking about? Creeping me out now. What happened 39 years ago? Is that what Emery Tate said? Dude, you're such a liar. Like, you act like you hardly knew me, but you probably played like 10 tournament games with me. We're not going to buy that anymore, you know? Asked to be brought up 30 years ago. I was hot. I was really hot 30 years ago. Alright, queen a4 check, knight c6, e3. Bishop d7. So I've played this a lot with white. Queen c2, castle, bishop d2. Now black has like various moves. a6, rook e8, queen e7. You were 1900, man. Thought you were a national master. I'm so disappointed. Bishop d2. Uber driver was in love with me. Rook a d8. This is getting too weird. I'm just kidding around. Alright, d takes c4. Maybe Uber driver is really a woman. We never really thought about that possibility. Just weren't a lot of women at the chess club. You could count them on one hand. Uber driver is secretly Christina, whatever her name was. There's a really nice woman from Poland who used to play at the chess club who was around 2000. That would be the right rating, actually. Oh no, and the age would be right too. You're Christina, the Polish, 2000 player. That explains everything. That's why you found me attractive. Okay. h6. I never thought of Uber driver as a woman. That adds up. Okay, bishop takes c4, h6, a3 here. Giving up the bishop. So I would think we want to come back here and then play for e5, like a queen's gambit accepted. e4, bang. It's a game. This looks viable for black. Maybe white has knight b5. We can always recapture with the pawn and just hold the line. Bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, knight d5. But white's better here. Repun is not playing a subtle game. He's leaving white with the advantage. Now, white's next move is a bit weird. I would think bishop d2. But she played bishop e1. I mean, it's not terrible. But white clearly has a good sense of strategic chess. Black's in trouble. See, that's what I was talking about. Okay, bishop d2 would have blocked the protection of d4 more, but now she's got f4 problem. You don't get the sense white is a tactician. She's basically very positional based. So how are we going to make this work? I mean, there's e5. Oh, you had a trick. Nice. Nice, you suckered into that queen exchange. And now white's pawn is backward. Okay, so white has space, but the pawn's backward. Interesting. And she's playing for tricks. What would Steinitz do? Knight e7, recycle. You sack the exchange? This bishop on e8 is hurting. But still, I mean, white is tied down to d4. So I guess knight back to e7. We've also got that. It looks like black's okay. Black's okay after knight e7. But this looks like it loses the exchange. I don't think I want to lose the exchange necessarily. Maybe you get away with it. Now this is similar to the last game. We lose the exchange, but have a solid sort of fortress. Double pawns are fixed. White has penetration there, though. No, I don't like f4. What about rook e1? I mean, she was likely concerned about knight c6. Well, whatever. I mean, you're going to do that anyway. What does f4 do? She's trying to tear it open? Yeah, she's trying to attack. So much for the positional player thing. I think I played her once. I don't remember. So you have knight takes b4 here, winning a pawn. White has pawn takes, threatening e7. Oof. That's pretty brutal, man. Can you survive down 2 exchanges, like takes, e7, knight here? No, because like white has... Oh my god. What if you had like 3 pawns for 2 exchanges? E takes f, king takes f. It's not going to work. You know, 3 pawns for 2 exchanges is pretty interesting in some place, probably. It could potentially work if the situation was right. Yeah, this is just more solid. So you've got 2 pawns, 3 pawns for the exchange. White's just active enough. Maybe you should transition it. The way you talk about me makes me almost certain. I was thinking about it just for views. If I get a sex change, I might have enough viewers. I don't know. Should I feel morally wrong about that? Just getting a sex change to make money? Alright. I'll be a straight transsexual. Bishop b3, king h7. I'd also have a lot more trolls. Attention is good. Man, this was awkward. So he left himself with that pin. So what choice did he have? Yeah, it looks like bishop b5. Covering f1. And then you have time to like pull the knight back to c6, maybe d8. No, this is lost. Oh, crap. What the heck? Bishop takes f7? Oh, man. What? That's so brutal. Wow, that sucks. He has rook down. Nasty tactic. So Ripun didn't fall for it. He managed to... I think, you know, he's winning here. We're close to winning. But he's just, like, weakening his king side now. I mean, I don't know if it's winning, but it's better for black at this point. Yeah, he's not really specializing in the endgame. f5 looks really weakening. I don't like it. It was a terrible move. His endgames need a lot of work. He needs a lot of work in endgames. He's a kid. It's normal, I guess. I'm a kid. That's my job. To be bad at endgames. And black lost a piece. He plays too fast in certain positions, and then he needs to work on endgames. But still, you know, he's a kid. He's 1800 lichess, and he put up a really good fight against a title player. All right, last game is Stockfish level 6 against Hot Dog. Hot Dog, a new contributor to the stream. God, I hate bishop c4. Man. Alright, let's turn off the engine. Alright, so this is really weird. The immediate d4. You know, I've seen a number of games where... Oh no, that's the line. Fishbein versus William Michael Brown. Why would Fishbein play this crap? Bishop e7. Hungarian defense. Can I ask a question? I mean, I don't understand why this is bad. What's the difference between d6 and bishop e7? There's this kid I played 2 years ago. He played this all the time. He played in a game, like a simul game against Geary, too. I'm surprised I couldn't find anything for white especially great here, you know? d6 is really probably as good as bishop e7. Look at the statistics. Like, let's stockfish run. So when you let it run, I mean, my computer sucks. It's right there though. I mean, it's basically as good as bishop e7, just about. I was just surprised how unpopular this move is. Anyway, this is trash. Bishop takes d4. So basically, it's like the Smith-Morrow. Like you, okay, it's a computer, okay, but a computer stockfish is playing this, but it's like giving away your opening advantage. Castles, interesting. So it's supposed to be what? What's wrong here? This is the right move, I think. Bishop takes d4. Castles, knight f6. Now we go knight takes d4, knight takes d4, and then f4 or bishop g5. This is someone on Sound's thing, you know, but it's nothing special for white. Like, I think white's just trying to draw at the end of the day. So that's a mistake. So it's a weird move order. You're supposed to play knight f6. How bad is d6? Bosco just passed away. We never met. I don't know. I would assume f4 is more dynamic. White wants to open lines. And now white probably doesn't have enough. What about c6? I don't like that move. What does it do, though? This knight needs to go away. Have we missed a chance to trade that off? Here, here. Well, I mean, I think the first thing to do is c6. But I guess it's not so simple. I mean, knight e3 and white still has some compensation. Yeah, this was awkward. Now you have to come back. And now he has kind of like compensation. Leaving his knight on d5. It's a computer playing white. Yeah, that's a weird move. So now, I mean, queen d7, king h8. Black played very safely. This is not good. I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible, but I don't understand why we're weakening our queen side. Weakening our queen side. Our strong point's on the other side of the board. A6 is one thing, but I think you should start to try to get rid of that knight on d5. Yeah. Or just exchange it off. I mean, black's up a pawn here. I don't like b5. I don't know if this is good either. Wow. This is a crazy game. I thought c7 was a problem. Wow, f7 is gone? Yeah, it's hard to believe this Stockfish level 6 is not Stockfish level 8. It's making mistakes. Wow. That's a nice move. Amazing defense by the computer. But it's too many pawns. Yeah, I never play Stockfish handicap computers. I don't know, how strong 6 is versus 7 or whatever. This is just over. You like level 1 to 3 better, but playing blindfold. Yeah, it's a good win. I think you should have put the knight on e5 though. Like going back a few moves. The first thing I do here is like stick my knight on e5. I don't know the h pawn matters. I mean, so like this, probably. I guess there he has b3. It's true. I don't think h pawn matters. Okay, c4, and then knight e5 next. So here, yeah, like that, probably b3. I mean, no, there's no way. b3, push, no, takes. It's over. Here. Here. There's no way that white's surviving. But this is also good. I was a little worried at this point. You cut it very, very close there. But it's enough. Good game. Okay, guys, I gotta go. Anyway, it was nice getting some interesting games this analysis session. We're gonna be back on Friday with Blitz Chess, with viewers and subscribers and everybody. So it's just open challenges tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Thanks everybody, Uber driver, for the compliment. Thanks for being here to kibitz. Nice to have a strong A player with us for the kibitzing. Thanks, WJ Lou, for submitting a game for the first time in months. I hope you get back to health. And we will be back again Friday at 11 a.m. CET. And I'm sorry, I'm spazzing out here. Sunday at 6:30 p.m. I've got a tournament game on Sunday. And then the simul in the evening. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, for pulling the trigger on those trolls. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.